Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. There's lately been some discussion about Brann. It all started with Cora's tweet that kind of implied that they would take Brann out of standard early, but then again, Cora issued this correction, went ahead and deleted the Brann tweet because it seemed like it was hurting more than it was helping, never intended to bait people, just wanted to reassure that we see the Brann conversation and that he will 99.9% not be sticking around in core for next year. Alright, so Brann is going to be removed from core 99.9% certainty at the start of next year, but not yet. The start of next standard year, so that will be in April. However, right now, a balance patch is coming and outliers will be addressed. Choosing not to rotate Brann early doesn't mean we are okay with the state of certain things, and we're discussing solutions for a number of areas now. What is the Brann discussion anyway? Brann actually became really popular in Standard, but that was just for a brief moment. As you can see from this graph, when much of the Lich King launched, Brann's popularity skyrocketed. Well, Brann was already popular, Brann was already close to 50%, then it jumped to 62.41% at its peak, and now actually Brann is less popular than Brann was before much of the Lich King. There was one balance patch in between in which Shockspitter and Side Naturals were nerfed, and that caused the downfall of Brann, at least partially, but was that a huge problem? If we compare Brann's performance in Wild with Brann's performance in Standard, well, popularity for Brann is pretty steady in Wild. Brann is a good card, it's a popular card, roughly around 20% and rock steady, no effect whatsoever thanks to much of the Lich King. But obviously there was this combo, and there kind of still is this combo. Brann Bronzebeard, Shockspitter. So you do some hero attacks, so you get that battle cry to deal a bunch of damage. Then you do multiple Shockspitters, Brann, boom, 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 potential OTK. Shockspitter used to cost 2 mana, it was lightning nerfed to 3 mana. And at 2 mana, Shockspitter was really strong, and actually there was even a viable Shockspitter deck in Wild. But now at 3 mana, Shockspitter in Wild is dead, it's not used at all anymore. Shockspitter still sees some play in Standard. Arcane Hunter has evolved into this sort of Renatal deck that is putting together its combo more slowly, but then over time it survives, and then boom, out of nowhere, it can still hit you once it has enough mana. It just doesn't do so on like turn 6 anymore. So yeah, obviously this Shockspitter thing was very, very scary with Brann. But other than that, Brann is used in stuff like Ping Mage, Spooky Mage, Curse Warlock, Blood Death Knight, a bunch of those decks, and in many of those decks Brann is like an okay card. It's actually one of the lower performers, sometimes even possibly the worst card in the deck, like in Curse Imp Warlock, but overall it's kind of okay, mediocre. It's not a superstar. But in the original Shockspitter list, in the fast Shockspitter list, Brann was clearly by far the strongest card in that deck. And there is another deck also still existing where Brann is super strong. And that deck is Ramp Druid. Because Ramp Druid, you Brann your Anubrakan, then you do some Astalors. You can even start from the 2 mana Astalor, it's okay. And you're pulling off 64 damage just from hand with double Astalors, and depending on how you play it, you might even have some leftover Astalors, so you can just do more Astalors later. So yeah, this Brann Anubrakan Astalor, it's an 11 mana combo, but you can of course also pull it with Innervate as a Druid, and it is lethal. Druid was just killing people left and right. In the early days when people were still trying more to play control decks, more trying to play stuff like Blood Death Knight, then Druid just comes in and boom. And yeah, what can you do about it? Well, right now in the meta, of course, what you're going to do about it is you're going to play like Detrimental Rogue, or you're going to play a Bless Priest, or you're going to play a Quest Demon Hunter, and you're just going to kill the Druid long before Druid even dreams of killing you. And as we could see, Brann's popularity had dropped a lot, and many people don't really see Brann as a problem at the moment, because even though Brann can do some really crazy things, it's just too slow right now. It's not fast enough. Even the Shockspitter Brann is not fast enough with 3 mana Shockspitters. It was fast enough to compete with 2 mana Shockspitters, but not anymore. All of this does imply that Brann can be a problem if you want slow decks to be successful, because Brann enables some really crazy combos that are taking place just a little bit later, so that they are not quite as fast as the current combos. And if the current combos end up nerfed, then these Brann combos just become so much stronger. On the other hand, there are still plenty of fast decks in the game, and Brann is a little bit slow to get things going, and Blizzard doesn't really support that slow deck thing anyway, so there is also enough disruption that you can potentially fight against this with proper control decks. But keeping Brann for the next year, where there's new cards and you have to worry about new cheap battle cries that could break Brann, makes perfect sense. On the other hand, in Wild, as we can see, even during March of the Lich King, Brann's popularity has remained steady and stable, so Brann is not overpowered in Wild at all, so there's no reason to nerf Brann either. It's just some of these cards, when you put them in Standard, they're just very, very powerful in some cases, and then when you put them in a Wild environment, they're just totally fine. I mean, stuff like Prince Renatal, stuff like Sardenetrius also come to mind. And also Brann. Yeah, Brann rotating out of core most likely, but no big deal at the moment, I think. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.